You're listening to Head Vomit. The following episode contains crude, rude, and often offensive content that may feel dirty in your ears. If you're concerned about your ears, please choose carefully when and even if to listen. This podcast is ad-libbed. If you are seeking a libbed podcast, look elsewhere. The views expressed are not necessarily those of the creators. Hello, and welcome to the program about war and about soldiers. I was always fascinated with war as a child. I grew up listening to podcasts of different generations of heroes bleeding out on the battlefield. What I wanted to do is carry on that grand old tradition of interviewing the finest soldiers who have survived the craziest battles in the history of man. Today, I interviewed J.R.R. Rankin, a.k.a. Johnny the Randy Robot Rankin, a descendant of Herbert Rankin, a man who fought bravely in the Second World War, and his war buddy, J.F. Spindley, whose descendant is with me today in the studio, Chopper Spindley, the 101st Ultramarine Squadron, whose bravery has helped stem the alien tide in recent decades. I think the best thing is for you to just talk to each other.
Yes,
You've got such fascinating stories. Tell us what you've been doing, and tell us about the great wars that you're involved in.
Obviously, war's changed very, very much over the past 600 years, 6,000 years.
600,000 years.
People are flying around in the sky now and they're firing lasers and things like that.
Yes, it was the Glomjaw 9 rebellion, I believe, and last thing I saw, you had a plasma rifle shoved up an alien's butthole. What perhaps a soldier of the olden days might not appreciate is the fact that humans bicker and fight amongst themselves a lot. But
we've been doing it for millennia, haven't we?
We've been doing it for millennia, yes, that's right. But as soon as you find as soon as there's an outside threat, such as aliens or something like that, it really does bring you together and realize, with your white, with your black, with your Asian, everybody is still human.
I don't actually remember when the aliens first came, because obviously they came and started attacking before I was born.
Well, they were the shapeshifters first, weren't they?
They were actually living among us for many years. We didn't realise.
Yeah, it's a different sort of war, that one, wasn't it? They tried to breed us out as well.
We need more firepower, sir.
Really did change things when they started using nuclear weapons. It was always a deterrent for war, wasn't it?
Yes, but it became rather less of a deterrent when everybody became immortal. Of course, when you don't age, certain things become, as soon as we came out with the technology to negate radiation in the human body, and we could build all sorts of suits and stuff, nukes became rather less of a danger to us. So we did, of course, nuke the planet, as we always knew we would, but of course, it wasn't so important to us that animal and plant life survived anymore.
Now,
yes, we can live with it. It's got to the point these days where they even put it in the breakfast cereal, because it's actually got some benefit to you.
When the mutants first came around, and then they thought, I don't like these mutants.
That was right.
It became a them and us thing. But
Yes,
then after
that was right.
300 years,
We became them, they became us.
yes, we just got along with them. It was like,
Yes.
there's Jerry the mutant from the shops.
Yes.
And you'd see him and you'd have a little
Lovely,
chat.
lovely little Jerry. Well, there's some younger immortals like you won't remember the first alien invasion.
I remember seeing it on the televisor.
Right.
They'd show the very first alien invasion, and then people didn't believe it, did they?
No. Despite the fact that they'd been dealing with shapeshifters and mutants for hundreds of years.
They
I
refused
think
to believe it.
They refused to believe that life had originated on other planets.
What would you say has been one of your favourite technological advancements in battle then? Like laser pistols now. We have lightsaber swords. We have massive guns with chainsaws attached to them.
Of course.
We have throwing knives that come back to you like very much like a boomerang, and you have to.
Yes, the magnetic boomerangs, yeah.
Yeah, what's your favourite technological advancement?
You know, I'm not a chap that likes to mince about and just sort of like do, you know, minor damage to an enemy, or, you know, I don't take hostages or anything like that. So I rather like the inside outer. It's a little ball made of energy. And what that does is it implants itself in the chest of the enemy, and then it slowly sinks into the middle of them, and it essentially reverses everything in the temporal space. So you see what it does is it turns them inside out. So you have, instead of a skeleton with wearing flesh, you have flesh wearing a skeleton.
There's nothing quite like seeing a battle scene where 300 people have been shot with these things at the same time,
Oh, it's
and you're just
beautiful,
seeing 300 people being literally turned inside out instantly at the same time. It's almost cathartic.
Yes, it's like one of those old Goya paintings or something. You know, I just think
Who's that?
it's some artist from back in the day.
They used to put paintings on wall.
Yes, now we just paint in the blood of our enemies. It's rather ruthless and rather cruel, but at the same time rather beautiful.
I don't know if you've ever tried to paint with alien blood, but it's quite acidic. I dipped my fingers in the alien blood and I lost up to my knuckle. And I realised after that I don't want to paint with this stuff anymore.
Yes,
Don't want to paint with it.
very few modern artists have all their digits.
Could I just ask you, what time is it? Are we approaching the hour? I think it's time to bow to our almighty leader, isn't it?
Oh yeah, oh my goodness, yes, it's only 5 seconds. Here we go.
Sorry.
Excuse us for a second.
Sorry about that. Just had to do that. Have to do it every time. If we don't do it, we are shot.
I do think it's slightly weird, like, you know, thinking back in time about all these different wars that have gone on and stuff, and you think, you know, the generations past, they must have gone through awful amounts of hell. And then you just think, well, hang on a minute, that's nothing compared to what we're going through on a daily basis. Like seeing your family devoured head to toe and processed into alien goo for the mothership.
Did you hear about Quincy?
Who's that?
He was the guy who got abducted by the aliens. Do you remember? They originally, 300 years ago, they took him up as the... he was supposed to be the spokesman for our planet, and they took him up, and they joined their sides. I didn't help that they promoted him first.
Quincy the Turncoat.
Every time I see squadrons of the alien army advancing, he's there as a hologram at the front, leading them into the charge.
He became a sort of mascot, didn't he? Yes. In fact, I remember when the reconstituted President Bush sent his special elite Delta Squad to assassinate Quincy. We never heard from him again. And now they're working for the aliens too. I don't know who this Quincy fellow is, but he's rather bloody good at persuading.
The alien ships do actually spread leaflets around, don't they, and said, join our side.
Well, fine, with the shapeshifters you could kind of see, well, they're making an effort to blend in. It's not that serious because they look like us and, you know, look like us. And the mutants, you know, after a while you're just sort of like, well, yes, they've got extra bits hanging off them, or, you know, they're very distastefully ugly. But then you think something as outside the box as, can I frequent a bug house, essentially, and be there with these aliens and just drink the most disgusting goop. And it really is something completely different from previous circumstances.
Have you tried it?
I've not tried it because everybody I know who's tried it has turned into a bug.
What's been your favourite mission then?
Well, I think the one that I'm most proud of, probably, the one that you know, really reminds me of why I am a soldier in the first place. And it was a damp and sodden day on the planet Rigel 7.
Was that with the black rain, the nuclear black rain?
The nuclear black rain on Rigel 7, and it was a last consortment of bug ships that had landed, and it was a pretty fair fight, really. It was about maybe 300,000 of the little critters, and a couple of big ones, and we were saving people on Rigel 7. You know, it's one of the human colony worlds now, of course. After the battle, when everything was dead, everything had been turned inside out, I was walking through the town, and I came across this horrific sight of a mother and a child just holding each other, petrified. They looked at me, and I looked at them, and we saw each other's humanity. It was a wonderful moment, until, of course, I realised that they were both shapeshifters, and actually they were pretending to be a mother and daughter, but they were actually a father and a son, and I just took that really personally, because I think, if you're a father and a son, you should be out there fighting the fucking war, and they, by pretending to be a mother and daughter cowering in the corner and waiting for, the men to sort of sort the bugs out and stuff, I felt it was disgusting. So I basically handed them something. I said, here, take this, it'll keep you safe, it's a beacon for the dropship, that they can locate you and they can come pick you up. And the father took it, he said, oh, thank you very much. And I thought, yeah, you son of a bitch, take that. And, I thought if he'd been a real soldier, he would have been able to tell that it was a live grenade. But, his bones are made of coward dust, I thought, he didn't recognise it as a weapon of war at all. So I calmly smiled and walked out. He was a cheerio bastard. And then, of course, blew him and his son to bits.
I think one of the war stories that really does stick with me is that was in the third wave to the bug planet. I was under the command of Sergeant Robert Redkill, and he said, I've got this gun that can do serious damage to the enemy. He stood at the front of the doors as they opened. Everyone else got torn down, and I saw him running through the swarms with what looked like a flamethrower, but it was just firing bug spray.
Obviously, war sometimes, it requires one step back in barbarity and one step forwards in technology. And I think we're failing in the technology here. We should be bombing entire bug planets with bug spray, really.
But why don't we do it?
Well, I'm not sure. Either the funding's not there, or somebody has a reason to prolong the war. Like, we're talking about all these wonderful moments in our career. But there are also tragic moments. We mustn't shy away from them in some form of sort of like, mock decency to try and protect the feelings of the people of the future. Because if it's forgotten, it can be repeated. Of course, the killing fields of Global 7 were probably one of the darkest moments of human history. And to forget something like that, to the sands of time, would be the ultimate tragedy. It would be even more tragic to forget it than the tragedy of what actually happened there.
I'd just like to ask you one thing. I do see you are half machine. Could you explain that?
That's right. It's been many years for you to sort of appreciate the combination of machine and man. Obviously, I've got my left nut done. I've got my right leg done. The only part of my right leg I have left that's from the original leg is my kneecap. And then, of course, there is
that bone, is it?
That's real original bone, yes.
And did you choose to keep that?
I didn't choose any of it, my dear fellow. I simply woke up on an operating table, and the doctor had said, look, if we hadn't have done this, I know it's not ideal. If we hadn't have done it, you would have died. We've been shot down. I was in a helicopter and over the skies of Rigel 7. We got some bug feces, hit the front of the chopper. The pilot said, bless him, he was a good chap. He said, and I'd known him for 600 years. He said, oh, we're going down, shit, we're going down, I think was his last words. It was like, I think the co-pilot's last words were something like, mother of fuck or something like that. And everybody's last words were just absolute terrible, except mine. I kept my mouth shut because I thought, okay, boy, keep calm. This isn't going to be the end of you. It turned out to be the end of everyone except me, actually. And I woke up in a Rigel hospital about 18 weeks later. More machine than man.
What's it like being morphed with machine?
It's cold. It's really cold. Like, you wake up in the night, and my metallic leg has been outside the covers. It's stone bloody cold, really cold. And then, so if you touch it with any of the rest of your flesh, it's bloody freezing, and it's sort of like having a cold metal pipe in the bed with you. So there's that. And then, of course, it is very good if you ever get into a street fight, because I've got into several street fights on the planet. There's a lot of street urchins around here and all that sort of thing.
And are they machines as well? Are they half
No.
machines?
These are like mutant half-breeds from the sewers who rob people and stuff like that.
Oh, I see.
You see, of course, when you can put your hands clean through somebody's chest and pull out its organs and sort of tease him a little bit by waving them in his face, saying, "Ooh, look what I've got, you little bastard, you tried to rob me and now I've got your heart," It tends to put people off after that. The robot hand does serve as a visual deterrent.
You hear that?
Yes, better get kissed up.
Yes. Well, good luck to you. I'll see you on the battlefield.
Yep, see you later, my friend. Wait, you're like 500-600 years old. You're still fighting?
The war never ends up, chap.
Yeah, back to it.
Head down. Reinforcements have arrived.
Devour their flesh.
Good job, soldier.